Breaking news coming in at this point in time. The PM is present at BJP's training workshop. Well, as per sources, the PM is seated in the last row. NDTV has also accessed first visuals from the workshop that show PM sitting in the back in the corner. Apart from this, what's extremely important to understand is that this workshop is taking place right before the elections that are of course slated to take place on the 9th. These are the elections to choose the vice president. Of course, fresh visuals there right on your screens at this point. These are from the BJP's training workshop. You can also see the Prime Minister present in these visuals. Crucial breaking news coming in from BJP's training workshop. Like I mentioned, that PM is seated on the last row. He's seated in the last row like any other party worker. Important information, he's also slated to be felicitated today by BJP MPs. Now it's said that he will be felicitated over the GST reforms that have taken place recently. So breaking news coming in, you can see fresh visuals of course, the BJP's training workshop right there on your screens. Important information. Now, this is a two-day event over the vice presidential polls, which are slated to take place on the 9th of September. Remember, we have BJP CP Radhakrishnan versus, of course, the opposition's candidate Sudarshan Reddy. It's going to be a contest which will, of course, grab all eyeballs. But, you know, NDA has all the numbers. Well, let me go across to my colleague Ishwara, who's joining us at the moment. Ishwara, we've also got visuals, more visuals, in fact, of, you know, the BJP training workshop. Of course, we can see the Prime Minister clearly seated in the last row. Walk us through this. Of course, it's a big thing that the Prime Minister is sitting at the back. It's an even bigger thing that the workshop is taking place just around the time that the vice presidential polls are to, of course, take place.
Well, certainly, and these are the visuals from the Balayogi Auditorium in the Parliament NXD, where the BJP Karyashala is underway, the workshop for the BJP MPs. And in these photographs, we can clearly see Prime Minister sitting in the last row of the auditorium with the other fellow MPs from the Bharatiya Janata Party. Clearly sends out a very strong message that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi believes in serving the party in a very serious way. He attends these workshops along with the fellow MPs who are the first-timer MPs or who have newly joined the Bharatiya Janata Party and been the member of Parliament for them. And it is this seriousness to which Prime Minister himself is engaging with different MPs. He will be speaking to them as well. And it's a two-day workshop that has been organized by the Bharatiya Janata Party, where important discussions perhaps in how India is going ahead on a mission to be Viksit Bharat by 2047, and also how social media can be used by the BJP MPs, and how there are important policies that Modi government have brought in that have, clearly brought in the livelihood in a better condition as far as the country is concerned, and how these policies have been effective much enough. And all of these sections will be attended by Prime Minister himself. And this shows that how serious he is and how serious every MP should be in regards to these kind of workshops. We remember that the last workshop that was organized by the Bharatiya Janata Party for the BJP MPs was just before the government revoked Article 370 in the Parliament. And it was at that point in time as well, Prime Minister himself, along with senior ministers of the Bharatiya Janata Party, attended that particular workshop. And this is just ahead of the vice presidential polls. Prime Minister himself attending is also a big morale booster for the MPs who are attending it. And Prime Minister giving the first few rows to the first-time MPs to get them seated. And he himself has taken the last seat, the last row, and he's sitting with the fellow MPs. Certainly a message also being sent out that how every Karyakarta is very important for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi believes that he himself, being a ground-level Karyakarta first for the Bharatiya Janata Party and rose to a height of the Prime Minister, how this can also send out a message to all those Karyakartas of the Bharatiya Janata Party in the country, and as to how they can also reach to a greater heights in this party. certainly we have seen such examples in the past and how a common man, Aam Karyakarta from the Bharatiya Janata Party had been elevated to the levels of the chief ministers of different states, being the ground worker of the Bharatiya Janata Party. If party believes so, the dedication that any Karyakarta shows towards the party, then party definitely promotes that individual. And Prime Minister now, in all seriousness, attending these workshops. Tomorrow is the day 2 of the BJP workshop that will be on the training sessions of the vice presidential polls for the first time MPs and for all other MPs as well who wanted to take participation. And certainly Prime Minister to Home Minister to Defence Minister to BJP President, all will be attending that as well. And it will be BJP MPs later today in this evening. We have been told that they all will be felicitating Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the GST next gen reforms that was recently introduced and was hailed by different people across the country for giving huge relief to the common man, as being announced by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman just 2 days back.
Absolutely, Ashwarya. And you very rightly mentioned that, of course, BJP is big on cadre, BJP is big on people, who work on the ground, and especially party workers. So clearly, like you mentioned, this is great messaging there from the Prime Minister that, regardless of whether you are the Prime Minister of the country or if you are an ordinary worker who's just a first-time member parliament, you, of course, are valued in the party. And you very rightly mentioned that, in several states, we've, of course, seen people, we've, of course, seen faces who were working on the ground, elevated to the position of chief ministers, like you very rightly mentioned. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing those details with us.